Hey guys, this is me, Rosa Steele. Thanks for watching my older adult interview oral presentation. So here we go. I chose the generativity versus stagnation stage of Erickson's 8 stages of development. The reason I chose this was really because after conducting my interview with Mr. Tony, I really realized that the majority of our interview consisted of him discussing his accomplishments and his career and everything that took place in his adulthood. So therefore, that's a stage I'll focus on. So generativity is a stage of development where the adult is driven by their work, families, and future generations, versus stagnation, where the adult is unable to move past investing in themselves, therefore becoming self-absorbed. Just a little background information on Mr. Tony. He earned a football scholarship at the University of Virginia, where he earned his civil engineering degree in 4 years. After 4 years, he started his own engineering firm, and Mr. Tony is a very self-driven, self-motivated man, and I just really enjoy getting to interview him, and I wish I could share with you guys his whole life story from beginning to end. But for the sake of this presentation, I'll just stick to generativity versus stagnation. So some accomplishments and challenges that Mr. Tony faced. His accomplishments, like previously stated, were his football scholarship at the University of Virginia. He started his own firm, he got married, he bought and owned his own firm, and became a mentor. The challenges he faced were the strict parental upbringing. He went to school during the time of desegregation, and his younger sister passed away from cancer. Um, and he was a black male during obviously his life, so that presented a lot of challenges from when he was younger to now. The psychosocial crisis resolution. Crises are psychological efforts to adjust to the demands of social environment. These are normal stressors that can be anticipated at each stage. So some of the things I did just previously touch on were his younger sister passing away from cancer. His partner turned down a $4 million AT&T contract deal. He left the job at his first firm because he felt like he was poorly treated and not valued due to his race, and Mr. Tony never had children. Okay. So the in order to resolve these crises, it's important to develop positive qualities that allow for growth and that support the exploration of the self. Um, Here we go. So the first crisis that Mr. Tony faced was his sister passing away of cancer, and the how he resolved that. Obviously, he faced a lot of difficult times. His siblings and him were all really close, but he overcame that with just a positive attitude. He said that he even worked harder just because he knew it would make his sister proud, and he understood that she was no longer suffering, so therefore it gave him a peace of mind. His partner turning down the AT&T contract. My interview, Mr. Tony was actually in Hawaii when AT&T presented this contract to his firm, and his partner ended up turning down the deal because they felt like they didn't have the infrastructure to, do the deal and do it well. Um, Basically, it was a big mess, long story short, and but Mr. Tony was really upset because he felt like this was a really big, huge turning point in his life and in his career, and obviously his partner kind of ruined that for him, and it kind of ruined their relationship also. But the way he resolved that was he did everything he could to save the deal. He ended up actually salvaging some of the deal for, and he worked independently with AT&T. Um, he also resolved it by just having a positive attitude about it, and he just knew that things went the way they were meant to be, and that everything happens for a reason. Another crisis was Mr. Tony never having any children. Um, Although I don't view this as a crisis in his life, because it wasn't like he couldn't have children or something traumatic happened. Him and his wife just decided that they didn't want any kids. So the resolution behind that was that he just felt like he was really involved in his career, and that's what motivated him each day, and just to accomplish the goals he had set for himself. And when we talked about him not having children, he just really, something that really stuck with me was that he didn't want to have children just to say he had children. If he wanted children, then he wanted to be the best father he could be, a father that was present and really involved. And he felt like with his career and his goals, he felt like he couldn't be that to a child and to his family. So he felt like it was best not to have any children. And I really respected that, just because not many people are willing to think that way and have that outlook. And so, therefore, that was a way he resolved, what seems to be a crisis. The other huge crisis that we discussed in the interview was the social hurdles that he faced, the racial hurdles, rather, that he faced. Just him being a black male, he felt like since he was younger, really, that he faced a lot of difficult times. He, felt like he really had to work harder and be better than the next man, just because of the color of his skin. And he felt this way just because he was essentially in a career um, that was predominantly Caucasian. Therefore, him coming in as a black male, he felt like he didn't he wasn't getting treated the way he should be. But the resolution to that, what he was telling me was that he wasn't gonna use his race or the color of his skin as a crutch in his life, and that he was gonna even work that much harder and be that much better so that he could essentially prove himself and prove his self-worth, and just continue to be successful. This is where I'm going to stop in, because it's around the halfway point, and start my next recording. So I will see you then, and we'll pick up here.